We mark our return to fixing D20 Modern by taking a look at the Salvager. Hello everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den. With me, your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire. We're returning to fixing D20 Modern, and we're kicking things off by looking at the Salvager Advanced Class. The Salvager class was introduced in the D20 Apocalypse book, and it kicks in around page 62 with the other advanced classes. And it's one that's sort of designed to be setting specific. It leans heavily into the scavenging rules this particular book introduced. And it's not great at it. In fact, you can take the Engineer Advanced class from D20 Future, be better at salvaging, and also just generally be better at all the technical skills there with its various class abilities. Salvager's just not great. But before we dig too much further into this, if you're new here to the channel, go on down there and hit the subscribe button and become a regular member here at the Gamer's Den. Be notified the next time we upload more great content here to the channel. And if you're a regular viewer, go on down there and hit the like or dislike button and share the video far and wide and help the channel grow ever further. Now, with my self-promotion out of the way, let's go ahead and dig into this. To begin with, for the Salvager, we should take a look at what the class's requirements are. And to begin with, for your skills, you need to have Disable Device, Repair, and Search all at 6 ranks, and you need to take the Expert Scrounger feat. Once you do that though, when you begin taking levels in Salvager, you gain 1d6 hit points. For action points, you get 6 plus 1/2 your character level rounded down. And for your skill points, you get a pretty generous 7 plus your intelligence modifier. And then for the class skill list, you have computer use, craft for electronics, mechanical, and writing, decipher script, diplomacy, disable device, drive, knowledge of current events, earth and life sciences, physical sciences, and technology. You also get navigate, read, write language, repair, search, speak language, spot, and survival. All around not a bad skill list. And then for your base attack bonus, you start off at a 0, but you get a solid progression and end with a +7 by the time you hit level 10 in the class. Your fortitude and reflex saves, though, are pretty terrible. You start off at a 0 and you end at a paltry +3 by the time you hit level 10. Your will saves, though, are great. You get a +2 at level 1, and by the time you hit level 10, you're raking in a +7 for your will saves. Now, for defense and reputation bonus, I have a bit of a confession to make here. Everything else in this overview is the rules as written, all the original stuff. It's exactly how this class is presented. Defense and reputation, though, are cut off in the 3 digital copies I got to take a look at and the 2 physical copies of the book that I looked in. Defense and reputation bonus are missing from the class's stats. So if anybody knows what those are, comment down below so that way I can expand my knowledge base. But for now, this is as best as I can remember. Defense bonus is a 0, ending at a +4 when you hit level 10, and your reputation bonus is likewise starting off with 0 and ends at a +3 when you hit level 10. They're not bad for what they are. I mean, it's kind of in line for a lot of your technical skill-oriented classes, although I would think reputation should be higher. But again, that's just as best as I can remember. But it's not these upon which the Salvager depends entirely. Every advanced class, as I say, lives and dies on the abilities it brings to the table, and the Salvager brings so little. To begin with, at level 1, you get Bargainer. The Salvager is skilled at negotiating for the materials that they've salvaged. When making a diplomacy check to affect the mood of the NPC they're bartering with, they gain a +2 bonus. Now, diplomacy is a class skill, and that +2 bonus is not, it doesn't hurt things, but it only applies towards affecting moods, not actually improving what your, the rates at which it does so very little for you. It's only for affecting moods, not the actual bartering in and of itself. It's not great. Then, also at level 1, you get Jury Rig, and this ability improves at level 4, 7, and 10. The Salvager gains a +1 bonus, competence bonus on repair checks, attempting to make temporary jury rig repairs. This increases by 1 at 4th, 7th, and 10th levels, so you'll end up with a +4 bonus on repair checks for jury rigging, which is garbage. The jury rigging rules are terrible, and this only gives you a bonus on this specific aspect of repairing, just on jury rigging. So being better at garbage is still just being garbage. This is a terrible ability all the way around. And at level 2, you get Salvager. The Salvager adds 1/2 of their Salvager level to all search checks when scavenging. Again, it's not bad, a +5 bonus to scavenging checks, not bad at all. But again, it only applies for this one specific aspect of search. It doesn't apply towards knowledge technology, or any of your craft skills, or repair checks. Any of these things that might be conceivably necessary and mandated by your DM for the specific salvaging at hand. So, this is, again, not a good ability, very limited in its scope. Also at level 2, Mishap Sense kicks in. It improves at level 5 and 8. The Artificer develops a 6th sense for unsafe conditions and hazards posed in crumbling buildings, granting them a +1 bonus on reflex saves made to avoid mishaps. This bonus increases by 1 at 5th and 8th level, and any bonuses that the Salvager has from the Trap Sense class feature stacks with Mishap Sense. Now, given that we have a terrible reflex save, this is not bad to have in and of itself, but the ability does not stack the other way towards Trap Sense. This does nothing for any traps people may have set for you. And to top it off, you have a terrible reflex save, so any bonuses are going to be appreciated, but this is, again, very limited in its ability to help you survive. For level 3, 6, and 9, you get bonus feats, and the Salvager may select bonus feats from the following list. You get Alertness, Archaic Weapon Proficiency, Builder, Endurance, Exotic Weapon Proficiency, Fight with Anything, Gearhead, Great Fortitude, Lightning Reflexes, Low Profile, Meticulous, Personal Firearms Proficiency, Renown, Shrewd Bargainer, Thrifty Mechanic, and Surface Vehicle Operation. It's actually not a bad list. It's varied, it's got some interesting abilities there, and it also uses some feats introduced specifically in the book, but most of these feats are they're not bad. They're interesting options, and they help to develop and define your character a little bit further. And then at 7th level, you get Treasure from Trash. The Salvager may spend an action point when making a repair check on an improvised or jury-rigged piece of equipment to make the repair permanent. Wow, fantastic. You could use repair to do that already. I mean, it's a terrible ability. You just make your jury rigging slightly better. Fantastic. And it costs you an action point to do it. Whoop-de-doo, Basil. At level 10, for your capstone ability, you get Master Salvager. The Salvager's instincts are honed to the point that they find items others simply miss. Once a day, when the Salvager finds miscellaneous items, they may instead roll on the following table instead of the normal miscellaneous table. I did not include the table here because it was extensive and, well, it was a lot. But what the table does for you is it allows you to roll for specific pieces of equipment, which includes weapons, tools, various different items that may be useful in a post-apocalyptic setting. And it's not bad, but it's pretty terrible as far as a level 10 capstone ability goes. I mean, you can get a Barrett Light 50, a Colt 45, you can get some very handy-dandy expensive binoculars. They're all interesting items in and of themselves, but it's also a list that a DM could and probably should play around with and adjust slightly, just because, depending on where you're searching, some items may not make any sense at all. So overall, this class, as you can see, is not great. It's pretty terrible. It's trying to lean into being great at salvaging, but the class abilities, while thematically they might be on point, mechanically, they're just terrible. But what do you think? Go on down into the comments below and let me know your thoughts. Have I struck a bullseye, or have I just absolutely failed at this one? I don't believe I have, but I'm more than happy to engage in discussion with all of you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and also, once again, if you haven't done so already, go on down there and hit the subscribe button and become a regular member, being notified the next time we upload more great content to the channel. But with all that said, I've been your host, Jordan, your Master of Lore and Storyteller Extraordinaire. Thank you all so much for your time, and you have yourselves a good night.